Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Guest Safety Officer Lobby Group. It's season 2. What can I say? I'm really excited because we've got Michael Kill with us to start the new year off. And Michael's going to tell us an awful lot, like the fantastic conference we've got going on. Or I say we've got going, obviously, I mean Michael's got going on February the 8th and 9th in Manchester. So if you haven't booked already, I'm sure Michael will tell you where you can get some tickets from, or if there's any free left, or if there's not, bad luck, I've got mine. So yeah, let's crack on. We've got, as usual, in the red corner, fighting out of Devon, Tiverton, we've got Gary Twining-Wright. Gary, hello again. How's your new year gone, mate?
Good morning, Ian. My new year's been very, very successful. It was a very successful new year, as I said, working out on the ground in the big old smoke. I think we had about 6,000 people come through the doors in 3 days. So for me, it was excellent.
Yeah. And here himself, the man of the hour, Michael Kill.
Well, New Year was actually quite quiet for me, to be honest with you. I had the first time I actually spent some time with the family over New Year. Over the last sort of 4 years, it's just been battling and battling up until the last hour. So, yeah, it was nice to actually have a little bit of a break. But definitely 2024 has come back with a vengeance.
Oh, well, we're ready to go. And we've got our interviewer, entrepreneur himself, Mr. Gary Twining-Wright. Let's ask Michael some questions.
Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Morning, mate. You're all right.
Just like to give you a quick happy birthday from the other day.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Someone put out that I was 60 years old online, and I got loads of people saying happy 60 if you don't look 60, and I'm like, I'm 51, and it was just someone from my past that was winding me up. So yeah, always a winner. I think a few people are getting me back for a bit of a wind up in the past.
There you go, mate. There you go. Anyway, that brings on to the main thing which I want to ask you today. You've got the conference up and coming in February. Do you want to give us a brief? What's going to go on? How many people we've got? Speakers going on, prices, and just fill us in. What's happening there?
Yeah, I mean we've got an amazing conference. I mean it's probably the most ambitious one that we've had, and you know, it's like with these conferences, I'm sure anyone who's done it, it's like herding cats sometimes. I mean we've committed to an amazing main stage. We've got things like all the mayors of the North and Midlands sitting on one stage. We've got on one panel. We've got Kevin Hollinrake, who's the Minister for Business and Trade, who looks after SME businesses, doing a keynote. Philip Colvin doing a keynote on our manifesto. We've also got She Said So doing an early breakfast. We've got representatives from the nighttime economy from New York, Tokyo, Sydney, Australia, and obviously half of Europe. So it's an amazing conference. I mean, there are 4 stages. Defected are looking after a stage on both days. And we've also got the fair, which looks at independent events and festivals, who are doing things which talk about that sort of independent event sector. And then we've got Vibe Lab doing their thing, which is an international perspective, bringing in people from across Europe, across the world, talking about the different scenarios and challenges and the ways that they sort of approach things, which is a lot of think tank moments. The big thing that we've got this year is we've got an amazing advocacy stage looking at well-being and looking at some of the inclusivity challenges. The likes of Michelle Russell are going to be there. Nactso are going to be there. We've also got a workshop and an academic stage, which is sort of proving to be quite an interesting one. So what we've done is we've got Nactso doing a workshop on the current Protect Duty situation and getting some updates and some input from people, which is great. We've got Vibe Lab doing some work on education. And then the other big thing that we've got, which is quite exciting, is we've got academics from across the country delivering in their sort of academic papers, talking about varying academic representation around things like club culture, music and its impacts on well-being. So there are lots of really nice academic papers where we've got the professors and those people from academia who can deliver in and accept questions and just broaden horizon. But I think the simple thing for me about this is it's a casual conference, and I really want to drive this casual conferencing. You know, the two things we want everyone to walk away with is more knowledge and a greater network. You know, we're encouraging people not to wear suits and uniforms, so there are no barriers. And the key thing is it's accessible. You know, the pricing for this is not like other conferences where they charge £200, £300, £400 to attend. It's not about that. It's about the bar staff being able to access as well as the business owners. So I think it's just a really important sort of precedent. And we're lucky because we've got membership across the UK. I think we're sort of tipping just over 700 tickets sold so far. With about 4 weeks to go this Thursday, we're sort of aiming at about 1,200 delegates right the way throughout, but we're looking at about 600 delegates a day at the moment. But Freight Island's an amazing space. It's quite earthy, it's quite individual. It's just something that's, for us, I just think that we've got a great opportunity here to sort of deliver something in that's quite unique, and it's expanding. You know, it's growing more and more as we go. Birmingham is where we're targeting for 2025. So we're going to keep it as a satellite conference, not just have it in one space, because I think everyone deserves the right to host this and be an active part in it. So they're the big things for us. But yeah, we've got some exciting things. I mean, we've got, you know, just to give you a bit of a feel, we've got people like Ariel Palitz from New York City, Michael Rodriguez, the New South Wales 24-hour commissioner, Taku Mizawa, who's the head of nighttime economy in Tokyo, my representative, Camilo Ospina Guzman, who is the nighttime economy lead for Colombia, and also runs the international nighttime economy conferences in Madrid. But on an alternative flip, we've got Raz Kwame from One Extra hosting a panel on cultivating homegrown talent. Rowetta from Happy Mondays, Don Letts, who was the guy who did all the Sex Pistols filmography, Lisa Mafia from So Solid Crew, and people like H from Soul to Soul on one panel. I mean, you don't often get Andy Burnham, Kevin Hollinrake, the MP, and then Rowetta and HB from Soul to Soul on a similar lineup, and I think we pride ourselves on that sort of diversity, you know. So it's an exciting project. It is war and peace in terms of getting it over the line, but once it's there, it's amazing. And the other thing that we've got, which is great this year, is we've got a couple of exclusives. We've got Gwok Wan, who's, you know, exploded onto the electronic music scene. But he's also a fashion icon, doing a one-to-one on stage with Carl Loban from DJ Magazine. And we've also got an exclusive with Keith Riley, who is a co-founder of Fabric, doing an exclusive interview on the electronic music stage, talking about his career with Sacha Lord. And there's a really intricate story about how Keith has really safeguarded things like Warehouse Project and Park Life for its future. So, you know, we've got some big names, some big people, about 260 speakers altogether. So, I mean, that's a huge range of different people coming together, from artist agents to artists to, you know, Radio 1 presenters, Danny Howard, Sarah Story, Sam Devine, to Mirik Milan, and many others. So there's some exciting panels out there, and I think people will get a lot from it. And the one thing that we've really worked hard on this year is getting more councillors and local authorities to attend, not just industry, so that they can really start to understand the diversity of our industry as a whole.
That's great stuff, Mike. There's a couple of people you missed out on that list. Is myself and Ian. Obviously,
well, it's a given.
What is the price of the tickets? Did you say, because it's for everybody? You're saying bar staff, security officers, everyone out there. What is the price for the tickets?
Yeah, so the tickets per day are £25 per day.
Right.
You know, that'll get you and 40. If you buy a ticket for both days, it's £40. So, you know, I think that's quite a reasonable access point for the size of event that we're putting on. And it just allows it to be accessible. We're doing a lot of work with Manchester University, the hospitality and the events sort of student side are, bought into it, and they're keen to attend. So there's some really, really nice synergies with a lot of people in Manchester. And I think Manchester have really sort of stepped up here. Sacha and Andy Burnham have really backed this. So it's been really good working with them and sort of driving this initiative forward, because when you go to a city and they welcome you in, it's a really nice sort of feeling. And Sacha obviously is the chair of our board, so it made life slightly easier. And similar, I think Birmingham will do the same with Alex Claridge.
Oh, definitely. So how long is the day going to last, do you think? Because you've got a lot going on for 2 days. I mean, this sounds like a week's task. You've got all these 600 speakers, and I mean, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get lost because there's so much going on. I know Ian. I won't see Ian because Ian will be all over the place. But how long is the day going to be?
Well, the day first day starts at 9:30 access. 10 till 11 is the initial sort of breakfast and welcome to Manchester with Andy Burnham and Sacha, and She Said So, which is almost a moment of celebrating women within our industry. We then kick off at 11 o'clock with the full programme right up until about 5:30. And then the following day it starts at 11 through till about 5:30 as well. We've got on the Thursday, we've got something called a night walk. So at 5:15, we'll be meeting quite a few people within the venue and doing a big walk throughout the whole of Manchester, talking about urban design and different approaches, lighting and different safety effects, which will be with Bev Craig, who's the leader of Manchester Council, Sacha Lord, Andrena Sejaz, and quite a few sort of different sort of international sort of counterparts talking about safety mechanism through design. We've then got an event at Joshua Brooks, which is quite a well-known sort of bar and student space between 7 and 11 in the evening, which is like a networking mixer where people can come and enjoy and chill out and have a drink on us. And Gwok Wan's going to be looking at sort of playing for an hour and a half there and having a bit of fun with everybody. So there's a bit of a mixer on the Thursday evening, but on Friday it sort of finishes at about 5:15, 5:30. I think one of the last panels I think we've allowed because it will overrun because there are a few talkers on it.
That is impressive. That is very. I mean, I'm taken back by that, Mike. That is a lot going on in a short space of time.
Well, I think the thing about it is we're always trying to better what we're doing, and I don't know if we're going to be able to better this year, next year, but no, it's exciting to put something like this on and represent such a broad spectrum of different people. And it's very difficult to satisfy everyone. I mean, we talk about kink sessions to the way that they're being administered, to inclusivity within the security sector, to some of the challenges that we sort of face in terms of central government. So I think we've got a very, very strong representation, and even things like well-being and suicide. I mean, there is a suicide line that's being launched for the music sector in particular. So there's lots of things going on. We've also got our electronic music report, which is being launched, which has now been backed by Amazon. And we've got the nighttime economy benchmark report that's also going to be launched in that period, which gives us an overview of what happened over the last year. On top of that, we've got the nighttime economy manifesto, which Philip Colvin is going to be presenting as a keynote on the morning following the breakfast. So we've got some really, really important pieces. UK Music are talking about their manifesto for music within government. Headstock are going to be launching their sort of suicide prevention line, which is a really important piece in terms of well-being. We've got things like What's on Your Mind coming, Tonic Rider that look at artist sort of well-being and sort of mental health challenges. But we've also got the likes of She Said So and talking about community and growing and empowering women within our sector, as we know, which is one of the challenges that we face as an industry.
So that's a big broad aspect of everything going on there. So let's look at the guest safety officer side, what's the Nighttime Economy Association doing for the guest safety officers on this event? What we've got happening for these guys and girls out on the ground?
Well, we're doing quite a lot of bits around inclusivity between the security sector. We have got a panel that looks at the skills board with Lisa Baskott, who sits on the skills board. We're talking about diversity within our sector, and we're also talking about that inclusivity and why we face those sort of challenges and the skill set elements of it. That's with Michelle Russell as well. So that's one part of what we're doing. The other part is we are looking at the challenges around security with things like Nactso. So Nactso are going to be talking about the implications for security within Martin's Law, and then on top of that, we've got a workshop with Nactso, which is about an hour and a half, with Jordan, who's the lead chief inspector for Nactso, which includes ACT and some of the other sort of counterparts, in also including the competent person scheme. So we've got Fegan, the CPS, which is Tony Hogan, and then we've got Jordan, who's the chief inspector or the lead for Nactso, and then we've got the Home Office all on one panel talking about Martin's Law. So it's quite a comprehensive one. So what we'll do is they'll talk through all the different areas and developments and what they're looking to do in terms of that development and the timelines. And then what we'll do is open it up so questions can be asked. And outside of that, what will happen is they'll be able to go to the workshop and then talk through with some of those people on a one-to-one basis.
That's great news. Apart from just the Nactso stuff, I mean, you spoke about welfare and suicide prevention. Is that also going to be open towards the guest safety officer, security officer?
Very much so. I mean, we've got sort of 2 or 3 panels. One about with Headstock, which is talking about suicide prevention throughout the whole of our sector. We've got What's on Your Mind, which is very much, and Tonic Rider. Tonic Rider looks at artists. What's on Your Mind is a little bit of a broader spectrum of sort of challenges, talking about depression and some of the issues that people face, particularly in the climate that we're facing at the moment. So, yeah, there is a broad spectrum of different people and people that you can talk to and go to. The other thing that's really quite key for us is we're doing a piece with the Arts Council, Drinks Trust, PRS Foundation, and Help Musicians. So what we've got is one panel which really identifies the support in terms of personal support, the financial grant support, and additional support mechanisms that the industry has out there, which is early part of the 8th. So, and they will be there with stands over the course of the coming days. So with individual spaces where they can sit down with people and talk about their particular sort of individual challenges. So that's already in there, and that's something that's working forward as well.
I think if I could just ask one sort of question, I just want to talk about for the guest safety officer's perspective in particular. I think a lot of people miss, the operators, etc., miss the fact that guest safety officers are invariably the very first people that you will encounter, and they are also the last people that they will see. And therefore, making sure that guest safety officers have the knowledge and are equipped to be able to deal with preventing violence against women, mental health issues, which often, when you've had a beer, etc., manifest itself, is really important. I can always remember one of my friends I was working with at a club, and and somebody's like sobbing on his shoulder, and he's comforting, and he's saying, he's trying to say, I want to kill myself. And when I spoke to him afterwards, that wasn't the first time he'd been involved. And you have to imagine this 6'10" beast of a man, literally cuddling somebody. Yeah. And it was a really, I know it's going to sound silly, it was a really beautiful moment.
I think the thing about it is, I mean, we've got quite a broad spectrum of generalized support in terms of, the power of hello and there's a lot of things that are being sort of discussed, and we've got a full stage which is purely around advocacy, support, financial remedy, because you also have to remember that, you know, while we talk about guest safety officers, a lot of them don't understand what's out there in terms of their support. And you know, having that sort of advocacy stage is quite important, whether you're talking about, you know, mental, physical or social well-being, whether you're talking about support for bills, whether you're talking about their, you know, their concern, they've got anxiety, they've got depression. It's just talking away, you know, ways of sort of managing and dealing with it. So on top of that, obviously the industry side and understanding what's coming up, you know, there are so many subjects to sort of cover, and we've tried to encompass as many as possible, but they're also very tuned into what's going on now. So I think there are, you know, without a doubt, there's a huge range of coverage, and some of the international perspectives will give a different sort of look and feel also. So I think there's a lot to take away from it for guest GSOs. But I think it's a matter of just getting in there and having a look and walking around and seeing and speaking to people. As I say, sometimes this is about broadening the horizons, isn't it? And, you know, for me, you know, that one moment could be an epiphany that makes a difference to your approach. And that's the bit that we're trying to sort of spark amongst people, whether they, you know, just want to remain as a GSO, whether they want to upskill and move up the ladder. I think, you know, there's a lot that can be seen there, and a lot of things that people can learn. Also, but you know, when you talk about an international base, I mean, the difference between Australia that has a very different process for security, or Southern Ireland, where we've got Sunil Sharp, who looks at Southern Ireland. There's some really nice opportunities there where people can gain some understanding from different territories, which is the one thing that I think is really important at the moment.
That's great stuff, Mike. I appreciate that. It's a lot of information there. I know we're coming to the end of time now. Ian, is there anything else you want to throw at Mike here at all?
Yeah, well, yeah, Mike, I'm waiting for my Christmas present. And my
you-
New
you-
Year's present, and my New Year's present is, you know, is to shift, you know, is to continue to shift the dial, to help create civilized space, because it is only in civilized spaces do businesses and operators prosper. And part of that is adopting and pushing forward the narrative, speaking to Michelle Russell. You know, I'm pushing forward that narrative to change it from door supervision, you know, bouncers and all of this, to guest safety officers, you know. And a guest safety officer could be licensed as per your currently standard door supervisor license, or potentially, if you're going to look at festivals, could be registered guest safety officers, because they've got MVQs, etc., that enable them to monitor festivals. But to push that guest safety narrative, as opposed to the, you know, oh look, it's cheap security for compliance.
I think there's a lot. Look, I mean, it's only recently that we've actually managed to stop the press using bouncer. So, you know, I think it's for us, there's a journey ahead, a lot of work still to do, a lot of work to clean up the industry as well, which I think you all are aware of. And there are some key things afoot which are going to make the difference. But you know, this is not a tomorrow. This is you know, we've got to go through that political cycle and really sort of drive for change, which is never an overnight process. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
But I'm sorry, Mike, because this is my job to push you, as you know, is to say, from this perspective, is just to say, is it has to start somewhere, and with, you know, with organisations, and people like you being able to just start it. Nothing's going to change overnight, Mike. I know that. You know, this is hundreds of years in the making, literally. So, but if we start, we begin, and the leaders, obviously, which the NTIA, the SIA, you know, BSIA, etc., they all are. We can start that. Speak
without
That's all.
without a doubt. I mean, listen, it's you know, I think the SIA, UKH, BBPA, all of these people are really key to sort of how this moves forward. But
Yeah.
I think the one thing I would say is, I think it's the security sector as a whole hasn't really had the attention it deserves.
Yeah.
And I think that the sort of epiphany moment for me was more around, I did a piece on, it was called Behavior Analysis, which I did at Warwick University.
Yeah.
And I did a piece, and the epiphany is all of these people are experts at body language. You know, whether they realize it, whatever their educational level or background, they're experts. That drummed in training of understanding and second guessing people within a minute to a minute and a half or 90 seconds is phenomenal, to the point that the training that you would have in people like the Mossad is to that level that they were trained. These people are actually drummed into them. And I think they're in a room of about 200 people. The realization was how skilled these people were and how undervalued and understated some of them are, given their skill set. So
Yeah.
for me, that was a real sort of moment. I think it was last year or the year before, where I did this presentation and walked away going, "Hold on a minute, we're really undervaluing these people. They don't really understand the job and role that they play as a whole, just through that basic skill, let alone the sort of challenges and the weight that they carry for these businesses moving forward." And given, you know, the pay rate challenges and retention challenges that we face and inclusivity, that, you know, it's crazy that we're even having those conversations given the skill set that they represent at the cost they represent them.
Well, that's me, but I'm 100%. I think what you're doing at the NTIA and is just absolutely amazing. The conference, I can't wait to get there, because it sounds, well, I know Gary's right. I'm going to be sat down listening intently to various speakers, academic probably mainly, and I'm just looking forward to it. Gary, you?
I'm really looking forward to it. It's a big 2 days, and there's just so much to take in. You know, I don't know why we're not speaking in, to be honest, on it. But, you know, hopefully we'll be on there Birmingham.
I don't even think I'm speaking on this one that much, to be honest with you. So I was quite happy not to do as much this year. I did so much the previous years. So listen, just come and enjoy it. That's the important bit. You can take away, rather than the pressures of sitting there and talking. Have a listen to some of the people that are coming.
Can't you tell? I've been sacked. Gary wants nothing more to hear himself on stage. I spent years as a DJ. This is Gary's moment to shine. Anyway, the bottom line is, I'm going to take it that that's the end. Mike, have you got a quick word just to say anything at all that you'd like to finish off with that you think I missed?
Just look, anyone out there who's interested in coming along, you know, drop into the website. It's just under www.nighttimeeconomysummit.com. You can pick up your tickets. If you want more information, just drop us an email at contact@ntia.co.uk, and I'm sure we'll be able to help you. But it'd be great to see some new faces. So, you know, happy for people to come and introduce yourself, you know. Don't be shy. That's the important bit. We want everyone to be accessible. We don't want any barriers. And, you know, the big thing for us is just to be able to walk away with a greater network and a greater knowledge. So if we can do that for every single person walking in, then the job's done.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Hope your new year goes well. Peace out. Gary.
Yeah, if you like this content, just remember, if you want to DM us or subscribe to this channel, we'd appreciate that. And wishing everyone a happy new year. And also, again, wishing Mike a happy 60th birthday.
See you later, everyone.
And we look forward to
thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.